Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good day, everyone. Trust your week has been good. Trust your day has been good and your day has been productive. So, yes, welcome, everyone, to the TBM Creativity Series. Yes, we've been wanting to start this series for a very long time. We have to, work on a lot of stuff. We've been having some setbacks, too, yes. So, and we had to, work on having some technical issues. And yes, here we are. But thank you everyone for joining this meeting. Thank you everyone for joining this community. I want to say welcome everyone to this wonderful series called the Creativity Series, the TBM Creativity Series. So yes. So I know there's a lot of question in your mind, a lot of question in people's mind. Why the series? Why this community in the first place? Why are we having this meeting? Why do we choose to have this meeting now? So and we've been receiving some questions. We've put out a form. We've put out a form for a lot of people to fill, and we've gotten a lot of, people who have filled in, and we have a lot of questions people have been asking. So yes, we'll be answering the question, and also we'll be talking about why this community exists, or why the series exists, right? So we have a lot of things to cover up in this recording and this series. So yes, stay tuned. So let's begin by answering some questions, then we'll move into talking about why the series exists in the first place. So yes, the question we'll be getting on our form is that we are not. So some persons have reached out to say they want to learn new skill, they want to improve on their career, or they want to change career. Well, we are not like an edtech platform, right? We are not an educational. When I mean educational platform, I mean school, right? School that teaches tech. We do not teach tech, right? We do not teach tech. We do not teach that. We don't teach front-end development. We don't teach back-end. We don't teach product management. No, we don't do that. But we might do that in the future, the coming years. We might do that in the nearest, well, maybe in the months to come, or the years to come. So we are not an ed tech platform that teaches tech or that teaches career. No, we don't do that. We do not do that. So what we do with that, we teach creativity. So now we understand why these questions were asked. The reason these questions were asked was because of the misconceptions on what creativity is, right? Or the misconception of creativity. So this is why we want to set creativity in people's minds, right? What is creativity? Right. So let me begin by telling a bit of story why we're choosing to have this, So, for long, creativity has always been within the human conversation. Like we know that. So the subject of creativity is not new. So if you go into different nations, lots of people have different opinions on what creativity is, right? So you go into different nations. Now, what I mean by nation, I don't mean America, China, India, Nigeria, no, Bulgaria. No, that is not what we're talking about. So when we talk about nation, we talk about people group. So if you go into different people group today, you have ton and ton of opinions or conversations, right, on what creativity is and what creativity is not. So if you've asked me maybe many years ago, I could have, given you a straight answer from my many podcast meetings and many conversations with people on what creativity is, straight from my notes. But now that I've seen creativity clearer, and with the right mindset and the right perspective, with right understanding, now I can tell you for a fact, creativity is not all of those things, all of those conversations you see out there. Now, I am not debunking the conversation, neither am I saying the conversation are false. No. So I am not. So what we are setting out to do is not to debunk things, but to clarify things, right? So we are not teaching something new. Yes, we are not teaching something new. What we are doing is to bring back the accurate perspective, right? So let's imagine that creativity has its own dark age, right? So that, the right conversation on what creativity is has been lost. So what we are doing is that we are bringing it back. So we are not necessarily teaching anything new, right? So we are not necessarily teaching anything new, but it might be new to you. right? It might not be new to you. So for some persons, it might be new. For other persons, it might not be new. So, right. So we are not attacking anyone. Neither, so no, neither are we teaching something new. No, it has always been, it has always been, it has always been, it has always been. Now, creativity has always been, even before the advent of, the software engineering, the AI, the tech like you know it today, right? Tech has always been, but, tech has evolved over time, right? So we are not debunking anything out there. We are just bringing out the accurate perspective of what this is. So now this series, like this TBM creativity series or is in 3 phases, right? So the first phase, we call it illumination or enlightenment. So the reason we call that is that new understanding of what creativity is, or the accurate understanding of what creativity will be, bringing it to you as light, as clarity, as insight to you. You begin to see differently, you begin to think differently. So this is the first phase, illumination, right? So the second phase of this series is called identity, right? So it's now, this is when, after we've bring forth accurate perspective of what creativity is. So it begins to form an opinion. It begins to re-engineer who you are. It begins to change your perspective and how you view the world around you, how you view things, how you view career, how you view life. Right. So this conversation is for life first, not necessarily for career, not necessarily for landing new remote job, But will it land you a new remote job? Yes, it will. But that's not the end of the conversation. Will it improve your creativity outburst? Yes, it will. So we are not geared towards teaching you a new skill or landing you into a new job. No. This creativity as an identity, right? As an identity, you begin to shape your vision. In fact, you begin to shape your vision of the present and the future. In fact, the past, present, and the future. Right? So the third phase of this conversation is called the art of creation. This is where creativity comes into a whole new level. So I call it creativity unleash or creativity outburst. Your creativity outburst comes into a whole new level. The way you begin to create, the way you begin to envision, the way you begin to, will I use the word metamorphosize, or the way you begin to change things, right? We begin to come into a whole new light. We begin to come into a whole new, a whole new level of plane of, what do you want to call it? Understanding, right? So this is what our end goal is that your creativity your act of creation comes into a whole new light. You begin to create differently. So yes, this is what we are doing. So we call it creativity on your face, right? So it will be on your face. It will be on your face, right? So we are on your face. So we are redefining what creativity is, and we are bringing back the original definition of what creativity is. So we are not necessarily teaching anything new, and we are not teaching you tech, right? But with this conversation, with this understanding, will it shape your idea? Will it bet new mind-bending, innovative idea? Yes, it will. Will it bet new plane of influence? Yes, it will. Will you improve your career? Will you improve your skill? Yes, it will. But it's not geared towards any of that, right? What we are geared towards in this conversation is you, is individual, is man, is person, right? Not necessarily output, not necessarily career, right? It is you. We are here for you, not necessarily your skill. Of course, when we are here for you, we are here for everything you stand for, right? We are here for everything about you, all your conversations, right, about you. So yes, that's why we are here. So now, why are we having this conversation now in this, when, things are all time high? Now, when I mean things are all time high, I mean, there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of innovation. There's a lot of conversation out there. There's just noise and sound. You know what I mean? There's lots of noise out there, and there are lots of organized sound out there, right? So why are we doing this right now? So my quest, let me put it that way, for this, or why do I want to do this right now is because, so let me introduce myself first. I am a tech person. I'm a software engineer, software developer. I'm also like a front end, the back end web developer, and also into UI UX design. Right? So why am I having this conversation right now? So let me give you the scenario. Let me paint this three stuff for you. Right? So in this conversation that I want to paint for you now, it will give you like an accurate perspective of why I am having to talk about this right now. So let's have three nations. Let's call at least three nations. So when I mean nation, I mean people group, right? So let's call the nation A one. Let's call it output, nation output. So let's call the nation B. Let's call it, what should we call it? Let us call it awareness, right? So the first nation, we call it output or innovation. The second nation, we call it awareness. The third nation, we call it man, right? We call it man. So let's understand it now. If you go into the first nation, now people group, you've come across the kind of conversation that creativity, there's just this charisma. That people who are into tech, they have, right? They have this charisma, or, oh, I'm a creative person. When you talk about, when you say if you come into a room and say all the creative people stand up, right? The people you mostly see, right, standing up are those who are into tech. Those who are into farming, who are into animal husbandry, who are into like the doctors and the nurse, who necessarily stand up, right? No, those that will stand up, maybe have better understanding of what creativity is. So, but other persons, the most persons you see out there that will, raise up their hand or stand up will be the tech bros and the tech sis, the tech mommy and the tech daddies, right? So they will be the one to stand up. Yeah, because I'm into tech, there's just this pride out there that because I'm into tech, I'm a creative person. Well, not 100% correct. Okay, let me put it this way. That's not correct, right? But let's leave that now. But as we go on, you understand why I said that's not correct. So you come into this nation, they have that belief and this pride, right? Not necessarily pride, but most persons have that pride that because I'm into tech, I'm a creative person, so I'm a creative person. Well, that's a career or an understanding that misroad. Like my friend will say, so creativity is not, let me put it this way, creativity is not innovation, right? Most of us, okay, what am I trying to say? Creativity first is not innovation, right? Neither is creativity career, neither creativity is tech, right? So if you say creativity is tech, so what about those who are into the bankers, the clerk, the cashiers, the receptionist, the those who are into farming, those who are into fish farming, livestock production, teachers, the gardener, right? Which one should we mention again? Name a few that are not into tech. The plumber, the carpenter, the law enforcement guys. Let's put it that way. Will you say they are not creative because they are not into tech? So if you say creativity is tech, that means your conversation, it's not accurate. It's a biased conversation. Because you are into tech, you are trying to, bring other people down. No, well, not necessarily you are doing that, but most persons feel that way, right? Because I'm not into tech, I'm not a creative person. Well, that's not correct, right? That's not correct. So, what is creativity? You find out. So, what about all those guys who are into animal husbandry and all those kind of things? Would you say they are not creative guys? So, if you say that tech makes you a creative person, that means if I should take away tech from you, who are you or what are you, right? If I should strip away that tech, that regalia of tech from you, will you say you are still a creative person? Let's say, for example, tech do not exist, right? Will you say you are still a creative person? Right? Will you say you are still a creative person? So that means this first nation, their conversation is not correct because, right? I believe, me personally, or we used to believe, let me put it that way, that creativity is not innovation, right? Innovation is born out of creativity, right? Innovations, for example, AI is not creativity. AI was born out of creativity. Creativity is the source of every innovation. Now, this way I'm going with this conversation now. Creativity is the source of every innovation. Creativity is the source of every output you see out there, right? Creativity is the source. Innovations are, AI is a wonderful innovation, right? But it was born out of what? Creativity, right? So born out of, so other guys, other persons who are not into tech are also creative, right? Are also creative. So, but how they express creativity is through what they do. But nonetheless, creativity is not what they do. But how creativity finds expression in what they do. Not first of all who they are, like in terms of career, but about who they are as an identity first, right? So let's come into the second nation, which I called awareness. Now, this nation believe that creativity is a self-conscious awareness of the heart and soul, or the heart or the soul, right? So they believe that creativity is that. Well, I would rather want to sit with these people to hear what they want to say, because they are better of their, well, I won't say they are 100% correct, but it's more it's more understandable, it's more, better than saying creativity is output or innovation, right? Creativity is output or innovation. So they say that creativity is the self-conscious awareness of one's heart or one's soul, right? That's not bad. That's good. Yes. We can say creativity is that to begin with. For a proper so let me put it this way, for a proper creativity outburst, right? For a proper creativity outburst, you need to actually understand how your heart operates. How your heart operates, right? For a proper creativity outburst, you need to understand how the heart operates. Now, the problem I have with this nation, or let me not call it a problem, but let's just leave it that way. The problem I have with this nation is that if you look at the soul or the heart, the heart or the soul is what makes up a man. So this brings us to the third conversation, the third nation, which I say the man. Now, the first nation, I called it output. The second nation, I called it awareness. The third nation, I called it what? Man. So why did I call it man? So if you look at the heart makes up man, right? So the soul makes up man. So the soul is not the man, neither the heart is the man. The soul is part of the man. Now let me explain this. Man is not just only soul. Man is spirit, soul, and body. Now I'm not trying to say, I might say creativity is spiritual, but when I mean creativity is spiritual, I'm not saying creativity is voodoo. No, that's not what I'm saying. No. When you talk about spirituality, most persons tend to say, you want to run away. Oh, no, please don't talk about spirituality. Everything don't have to be spiritual. Well, everything is spiritual, right? What some of the profound scientists out there, right? Some of the profound scientists out there believed in spirituality, right? They believed in spirituality. The likes of Isaac Newton, the likes of Francis Bacon, the likes of Einstein, the likes of Francis Collins, and lots of them, they believe in spirituality. Now, they didn't believe spirituality as magic and no. They believe that, everything, right? So we want to go into this conversation right now. So they believed in the spirituality of everything. They didn't just, this modern science, this modern, engineers today, they want to pit science. They want to pit science against spirituality. No, but the other, profound, mind innovative guys of the early century, they believed in spirituality. Now, I'm not teaching you spirituality. When I mean spirituality don't only have to be voodoo. No. You don't have to do. No, it doesn't have to be that, right? Spirituality is broad. But now, let's leave that. So, creativity is man, actually. So, what do I mean? For a proper creativity, or let me put it this way, the soul is part of. So, I said man is spirit, soul, and body. And now, I didn't say man is a spirit, has a soul, and live in a body. That's trash. It's not correct, right? It's not correct. Man is spirit, soul, and body. Man is not a spirit, has a soul, and live in the body. No, man is collectively spirit, soul, and body. Now, why am I doing this? It's for you to understand how creativity operates. So you be wondering, okay, so now that you've told me why man is so, how does that affect us? So, like I said, this is a series, right? So we have to journey through this series to see what I'm talking about, right? So don't just say, this is okay, all the spirituality guys. No, I'm not teaching you spirituality, and neither am I teaching you how to. No. I'm not teaching you all of that. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to teach you creativity, right? So man is spirit. So this third nation I called man. This is where we sit. This is where we bring forth our conversation. This is where we are having conversation at. Right? This is where we want to sit to have conversation with you on what creativity is. We are not sitting in output, neither are we sitting in awareness, but we are sitting where? In man. Man first is the creative person. Man first is the creativity. Man first is the source of every creativity of man. First is the source of every output, of every innovation. Everything you see today came forth from man. Everything you see today didn't come out from AI. It didn't come out from data analysis. It didn't come out from, no, it came out from what? Man. So because for example, I'm a designer, how creativity flow through me, right? How creativity finds expression through me is through what I do, the works of my hand. That's not only the way creativity finds expression in different ways. In how you talk, you can also allow creativity to find expression in the way you talk, your utterance, the way you speak, right? In what you do too. Creativity can find expression in how you think. You can allow creativity to find expression in how you think. See, this all ties up man. Man is not just an output kind of person that works in a big company, have a high paying job. No. Man is not just a person who is aware of his heart. No. Man is man. Man is creativity, right? So we're having conversation of what is actually man. Why are we having it? What is actually man? This will help you to understand what creativity is. We are not coming to tell you, okay, meditate for 265 days. No. No. We will meditate. I don't know yet. But the conversation is not just on meditation. It is you first, right? So the problem out there in the world today is that people are jumping to this bandwagon of get a high paying job, join into tech and get a high paying job, going to a very innovative company, and you're a tech person or you're a creative person. No, right? So what we are trying to stop is that, let me put it this way, be comfortable in your own fall. Right? What do I mean? Be comfortable in your own career, in your own skill. Are you a farmer? You can allow creativity to find expression in farming. Are you a painter? You can allow creativity to find expression in painting. See, it's countless of mind-bending innovations, countless of mind-bending paintings that man has not seen. Man has not seen yet. Man has not seen. No, people tend to say there's nothing new under the sun. Actually, there's something new under the sun. There are mind-bending innovation that you can, through creativity, right, as the source, you can allow, then through creativity, and you allowing creativity to find expression, your painting or your design knowledge will come into a whole new perspective, a whole new outburst, a whole new mind the word, unleash, right? So what we are trying to do is to allow you be comfortable in what you do. Don't just join tech. No, don't pay huge money and that is, you are not wondering, why did I even pay this money, right? Yes, creativity handles all of your heart desires. Let me put it that way. Creativity handles all of your heart desires, right? There are countless of mind-bending innovation, not just in AI. AI is a product of creativity, right? AI is a product of creativity. So it's not just, AI is not just the future. The future currency is not AI actually, right? What if we ask, okay, what is the future currency? We'll have that conversation. Creativity is the future currency. Let me put it that way. Creativity is the future currency. So more of these meetings, unravel it, will see it more robustly. So what I'm doing is that I'm laying seeds, I'm laying foundation for something coming, something huge coming. Right. So stay expectant, stay open. Your mind and heart should be open for something coming. So, we want you to be comfortable in what you are doing. Don't jump into tech. But if you want to jump in, fine. But are you a painter? Are you a designer? What are you? Are you into music? Creativity? We have not seen sounds. We have not seen sounds. There are countless kinds of sound we haven't heard that you can bring out. There are countless kind of, how to care for. Is it into livestock production, right? There are countless ways we have not seen farming. It's not even farm mechanization. Of course, it's good, but there are countless ways we can carry out all of this. The source, the problem is that we've left creativity and we are chasing tech in quotes. Now, I'm not saying you should not understand how AI operates. Understand how AI operates, right? AI is a tool, use it, right? AI tech is a tool, use it, is a tool, right? Is a tool that is being driven or is being used by creativity, right? It's being used by a creative person. You are the creative person, not necessarily your output. You first as a person, identity, he is the creative person. So how creativity finds expression, it finds expression in what you do. Whether you are talking, you are cooking, you're into culinary, you're like a chef, you can allow creativity to find expression. There are countless ways you haven't seen different mixtures of food. Now, I'm not talking about like some person who wants to mix. No, not that kind of, mind-bending, innovative way of cooking. We have not seen that. Mind-bending ways of, are you a nurse or a doctor? Mind-bending way of carrying that out, right? Mind-bending way of doing that. So don't limit yourself. Don't let tech be a limitation to you. Don't be a limitation to yourself. So this is what we are, dishing out. So the next series we'll be talking about, on the next episode, we'll be talking about Architecture of Man, right? In the Architecture of Man series, we're talking about the creation of the first man, the purpose for the first man, eternity, creativity is eternal, creativity as it affects the spirit, soul, and body of man. So there's a lot of things to discover, to uncover, right? To uncover. So yes, join this series. This is like the beginning. Stay expectant. If you don't see us post, reach out, right? So we also have some notes, some book we've written, right? It's called I called it the Revelation of the Heavy Heart, right? It's called the Revelation of the Heavy Heart, which is actually the title of this first series, this first episode, right? So it's called the Revelation of the Heavy Heart. So we are writing a book. So we are still writing it, but we'll be dishing out this book, in bit by bit, in small snippets. So reach out to us if you want this book. If you want, this snippet, reach out. We'll be dishing it out to you, right? It's gonna be, privately, right? Now we're gonna be dishing out privately. Then you can share it out there, fine, right? So, but what we want you to do is that as you share it out there, please also tag us. Now, you're not just tagging us for popularity, you are tagging us also for people to come and be enriched. It's not just to expose us out there. No. Is that good? Yes, right? But you are tagging us so that people also can join and be blessed. There's a lot, there are countless of things to say. We won't be able to say this here, right? To say this here, to say this in this recording right now, right? So yes, reach out. We'll be also in our platforms. Reach out for the forms. If you have not filled you have not filled the form, please reach out, fill the form. Check your emails. There's a lot of things we've sent in the email, right? Then I think in the email we have 3. Okay, let me not talk about John. Let me talk about one of it. We have a PDF in the email. So what I want you to do is that read everything in the PDF. Then all of those social platforms, join. We'll be posting it out there. We'll not just be posting on WhatsApp, on Telegram. No, you'll be posting on lots of platforms. So join the one that is more comfortable for you. Don't just say, okay, I feel, what else? Join. We won't be necessarily reaching. We'll be reaching you via email. Most persons don't usually check their email. So join all of the social media platforms. And follow. right? Reach out if you have not seen, if you have not posted any video, reach out. We'll send you a reach out and say, oh, can I have the snippets? Can I have the book? Can I have like the magazine? But this, flip this, snippets, right? We'll send it to you privately via mail, or we'll send you to where it is, right? We'll send it to where it is. So also we are building a platform whereby we can post all of this on the platform, right? We'll post all of this on the platform. You can, as we post, you receive an email that we've posted. But even when you don't receive an email, we'll send it to you, right? We'll send it to you. So then last, I think this is the last, right? Last and the least, we'll have also lot of speakers joining in, right? I think we have about 24 speakers. Yes, I think 24 speakers. A lot, you see, lots and lots of people coming to join. So they are not going to talk differently in what I've said, but they're going to bring out unique perspective. Now, this perspective is not new, right? So don't mind me using the word unique, but it's not new. But they're going to bring out unique perspective that is, that is tailored to their own understanding of what creativity is. But nonetheless, the way they are going to bring out this conversation is not going to be something, excluded or something removed or askewed from what we have been seeing of what creativity is. So one of the things they're going to be talking about is how creativity flow through them, what is their understanding of creativity, and how creativity flow through them. Some of the speakers are, good in what they are doing, right? So they are very, 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 vast in what they are doing. They are, most of them, or they have their own startup companies. They have their own companies, and most of them work in this, mind bending, these big companies, and most of them, so we are not just bringing speakers from, right? We are bringing people from, not tech people, but speakers from different backgrounds of outputs, right, of career, right? So we are bringing different speakers from different individuals from different outputs, not necessarily tech, to come and talk to us on how they flow through, how creativity flow through them, and how did they began to know. For those who started doing, like, I think I have a friend, one of my friends is in this, will be like the speaker is going to be teaching us how he flowed through design, how creativity flow through him via design, right? So join and be blessed. Join and it's going to be a wonderful journey. It's going to be a long journey, right? But the journey nonetheless is going to be fun. So we are not just going to be talking. No, we have lots and lots of things, in store for you guys, right? We have a lot of, we're not going to be just talking. And they're going to be videos. Yes, they're going to be videos. Our YouTube channel, we're going to be posting videos. Our Instagram, our Substack, the videos are going to be there. This the Spotify going to be there. Lots and lots of them are going to be there, right? So yes, there's going to be videos at some point. So join. It's not going to be just conversational. It's not just going to talking. No, we're going to have some fun. There's going to be fun whereby we have not just this platform, right? So in other conversation, we'll bring out other things we are doing. So we are not just in for just conversation on creativity. We have other products out there. Now we are not selling something to you, or let me call it services. We are not necessarily selling things to you, right? But there are other mind-bending innovations that we have, or mind-bending ideas we have started building, that we will start bringing you guys in gradually. So the reason for that is for positioning. So we are positioned for other things we are doing is for positioning, right? So we'll explain later. So we want you to join and be expectant and be blessed. So thank you very much, and I love you guys. Bye.